Generally speaking, most applicants for naturalization need to demonstrate 5 years of good character before they submit their N-400 application for naturalization. But the question becomes, when does your good character begin again? When can you apply for naturalization after being convicted of a crime? So let's talk about drunk driving as an example. Let's say in the year 2020, you are drunk driving and you get arrested for drunk driving. You get a lawyer, you work things out, but court keeps getting delayed and you end up taking a plea deal for drunk driving or some sort of reduced version of it in 2022, 2 years later. And the sentence, the consequence is that you'll be on probation for 2 years, which will finish in 2024. As a permanent resident, the question becomes, when can you apply for naturalization? Generally speaking, most applicants for naturalization need to demonstrate 5 years of good character before they submit their N-400 application for naturalization. But the question becomes, when does your good character begin again? We can pretty much all agree that drunk driving is a bad character event, and almost any immigration officer would deny naturalization within 5 years of that arrest. Most would also deny naturalization within 5 years of the conviction. The question becomes, when are you eligible for naturalization after this DWI? 5 years, when does that begin? 2020, the date of the arrest, 2022, the date of the conviction, or 2024, when you finish probation? For most USCIS officers, the answer here is going to be 2024, when you finish probation, but not always. And there's two main examples where you might be able to naturalize sooner. The first one is if you're married to a US citizen, even if you did not get your green card through marriage to that US citizen. The moment you have a green card and your spouse becomes a US citizen, you're eligible for naturalization 3 years later, assuming you guys are living together in a good faith marriage. You cannot apply 90 days early in that example. However, if you got your green card through marriage to the US citizen, then you can apply for naturalization after having that green card for 2 years and 9 months. You can apply 3 months early. If you are not married to a US citizen, then it's going to be the full 5 years. And for most USCIS officers, it's going to be 5 years after you finish the consequence of the crime. In this case, that would be probation. So in this scenario, most USCIS officers would allow this person to naturalize in 2029. Now, under current policies, you might be found to not have the necessary good character, even if you have no criminal history for the last 5 years. It's important to submit additional evidence that you're a good person in addition to not having the criminal history. But there are also some instances in some field offices in the United States where you can apply for naturalization and the date that the good character begins would be the date of the conviction, not the date the sentence ends. So in some scenarios, in this hypothetical, you could demonstrate that you're eligible for naturalization as early as 2027 if you're not married to a US citizen, or 2025 if you are married to a US citizen. So the 2022 conviction date would be controlling here. This is pretty rare. And if you're gonna do this, it's really important to overwhelm USCIS with additional evidence that you have good character. The officers in some USCIS field offices do have the authority to approve naturalization, even though the requisite good character time hasn't passed from the date of the consequence. They can calculate it back to the date of conviction. It is possible, but unlikely. So if you're in my office and you're asking me, when can I apply for naturalization? In this scenario, I would probably tell you if you're married to a US citizen, I would calculate 3 years from the 2024 date when you finish probation, so sometime in 2027. If you're not married to a US citizen, it'll probably be sometime in 2029, 5 years from when you finish the probation. There are some instances where you can naturalize sooner than that, but not predictably, and the chances are much lower, especially in the current environment where good character has become a bigger issue, especially since last October 2025 when they changed the policy on this. All right, guys, that's the end of today's video. I just want to finish by saying one more thing. If you have criminal convictions, you're probably still gonna eventually become eligible for naturalization. Most people who have criminal convictions are not deportable, although they may be inadmissible. If you're not sure, please speak with an attorney. If you have any convictions as a green card holder, you should not be traveling internationally until you've confirmed that your conviction does not render you inadmissible, which means it's not a crime involving moral turpitude or something worse under the Immigration Act. If you have questions about this and you want to speak with an attorney to see if you're eligible to naturalize, or sometimes people are even freaking out about renewing the green card, consult with me. The first step is to schedule a consultation by clicking the link in the video description below. And if you're new to my channel and you want to stay up to date on all the recent changes to immigration law and receive tips and tricks directly from an immigration attorney, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time for another video.